way I started, I became interested in playing the drums was because of all of the racket that was being made outside my house. At the age of 2.5, I was quite curious. Why would anybody be allowed to do this? What sounded to me like the beating on garbage cans and all of that was actually my cousins, for a living, making steel pan from oil drums and cutting them down and tuning them. Also burning and hollowing out wood shells, primarily in Buya, maybe a little bit rosewood for kungats. They were actually making drums and also making the leather hides and all to do that. I didn't know, but watching a little bit, taking brief puffs of my cigar and trying to understand what life was all about at this time in my life, and waiting for the next poop to go back inside diapers, I finally come up with the idea, maybe I could make a living at this, And the way things worked out, yeah, last 50 plus years or 60 years, that's what I do. It's come a long way for me from this and this kind of stuff to playing in a way that best reflects my inner self, that best reflects the words that I speak, but has much more longer lasting power.
What is characteristic of the drum? Why is it so fascinating? Why didn't you decide for trumpet or piano, guitar?
What's characteristic about the drum is that it's the second instrument in the world to ever be played without even knowing what happened with aliens, okay? But as far as the human race is concerned, I'm convinced, and put money on it, that the only other instrument that came before the drum was the voice. So drums are a means of translation. It's a conduit between one community and another. I mean, I've been in situations where I've seen players from one community who were hired through communication of drums from 25 to 30 kilometers away in the Kalahari Desert to play a year from then to the day, show up on time and play for 7 days without stopping to celebrate the history and the life of the community and the people who were getting married. I haven't heard any clarinet players or trumpet players do that, Those instruments came a long time into the Bronze Age or after in what we can call civilization, Northern Europe. Okay, great. Drum's always been here. The most interesting thing about a drum is that if played correctly, it will transfer all direction and ideas and make the feeling of the music be that of the person who is sending the information, who may not necessarily be the conductor, as he or she may stand on stage. But let the drum not be there and see what happens. There's a hole. And all those things didn't have me, I didn't start with that, but I've learned that. And again, I'm 76 and I'm talking about modestly 60 years doing this. That would make me 16. I was just in high school. By then, Buddy Rich had dropped my snare drum down the stairs in Manny's drum shop on 48th Street, which was my at the age of 13, my reward from my parents for making the School of Performing Arts. And so I learned a lot. I watched Jimmy Cobb at my first music events, which would be called like a NAMM show or so, the equivalent in New York City at the Edison Hotel, when my dad, who was also a piano player and a mathematician, took me. That was my first drum clinic. And to be able to speak to Cobbs now, or before he passed away, it's to think about all of the things that have happened is just amazing.
Just staying with the drum for a little longer, you spoke about the drum being a communicator. That almost sounds like a diplomat, making communication between different communities. Is the drum a peacemaker?
The drummer is a peacemaker. The drum is the instrument that he makes peace through. This is just a medium of exchange. If you don't know what to do with it, you're going to speak gibberish, you know. Earlier on today, a comment was made about playing the drums in a certain way with somebody else tapping them. It was legitimate for what they do. But when I sit down at the drum, I'm not going to do what they do. So to tell me I should do something based on what they do only cuts off my nose to spite my face. Because when I get on here, I'm going to go, this sounds awful now. Come on, now I have to change. Now we have to do the job again to get my take on what it sounds like. So the actual fact of even asking the question is very profound, because it means respect is not given for the instrument and the person that's playing it. That's how strong the idea is. If you're going to play, you're going to say who you are, not whom someone else is. The lie that has been placed at the base of all musicians is always, I need for you to sound like, okay? Well, what about yourself? If you're going to sound like Max, you're going to have to dig him up and get him to play. Well, you know, you don't want to sound like him, you want Max. If you want to sound like Max, and that's somebody's cheaper way of saying, well, I don't have enough money, I can't afford to exhume him, so, and he may not play, you know, and then I lose money. But if you do it kind of like him, I'll settle for that. But is that really what the music is not needed in the music? You see, you want originality. You want sincerity. If you really can play, you only have one option, especially if you're thinking of playing with and for the musicians who are your colleagues on the bandstand in real time. If you're only thinking about competing and playing as an individual to show the whole world, hey, hallelujah, you can play, then that's exactly what you're going to sound like. And who cares about the band? We have the saying in the States, it's not often used anymore, called the eagle flies on Friday. Okay, we get paid. Want to have a good time, been working all week. That's why they have a blues. Okay, I want to hear a blues band. The last thing you want to hear when you pay your money to hear this blues band is an individual that sounds better than the rest of the band. You come to hear the band. If the band is burning, that means the individual has done his or her job and that they're part of the band. That's exactly what I want to do here, is to play as part of the band to make the presentation correct. It's not about who did what, except how did the group sound? How do I walk away in the audience feeling fulfilled? That, yeah, oh, it's a great concert. You remember who played drums? No, not really. Who played piano? No. Look on the program. You've won.